Hey everybody, Dano here from Every Day is Turkey Day, and for this video I'm going to be talking about ancient Egyptian mourning practices. Now, if you've been watching some of my videos, more so the recent ones have been about green burials, and so this one and those and some of the ones in the future are probably going to have to do with death and dying, as most of these videos come from assignments that I had in college because I took a class on death and dying. But I thought this stuff was pretty interesting, so I thought, I just put it out here on YouTube and see maybe if some people could learn from it. So, uh, yeah, but here we go with this. So, according to Herodotus, in ancient Egyptian culture, when a distinguished man died, all the women and men of the household would plaster their faces with mud and go around town and beat themselves as a practice of mourning. If a distinguished woman was to die, usually the body was held for 3 or 4 days before being given to the embalmers to try to prevent any sexual activity being done to the deceased corpse. The Egyptians thought that preservation of the body was the key to reaching the afterlife. In this, one of their most famous practices was mummification, where they would embalm the deceased body by removing certain organs and using different kinds of oils to preserve the body. They would then wrap the body in linen. This, at a certain point in time, was only done for royalty, as they would erect great monuments for the rulers that they would be buried in. Over time, this practice would change, where mummification would become less of the standard, and embalming would become a more organized practice available to a widespread group of people. There were 3 different classes that one could pick from when they went to an embalmer to have their loved one embalmed in terms of price and luxury. They range from the most expensive, moderately expensive, and then the most humble. The expense would determine the types of oils and spices used when embalming the individual, as well as the types of techniques the embalmer would use. Also, the amount of money paid would determine the quality of the wood case that the individual would be returned to the family and once the whole embalming process was done. The reason why these practices were so important was that the ancient Egyptians believed that someone's soul left their body when they died. They believed that when the body was buried, that the soul would reunite with the body, and that in order for this to happen, that the soul needed to be able to recognize what bodies was theirs. So that's some mourning practices and how they dealt with death in the body. I'll put references down in the description, so if you want to look it up to see if I'm telling the truth or what have you, or just if you want to do further research for yourself, they'll be down there. So yeah, I hope you learned something. Yeah, if you did, please like, subscribe. I don't know, do what you do. And yeah, thanks. Peace.